More than 1,350 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Welcome back, everybody, as the caution flag continues to fly here at the I-70 Speedway, just east of Kansas City. You're with us live on TNN Motorsports. Bob Brevac's truck continues to vent something from behind it, and he'll be heading back down the pit lane to the attention of the crew. That is one of the cleanup buggies that they use here at the I-70 Speedway, but this is just an immaculate racetrack that Ted Carlson owns. He owns this track, the Lakeside Speedway over in Kansas, the Park Jefferson Speedway in South Dakota, and reportedly will even be adding more racetracks to his portfolio before too much longer, and we do have a good bit of cleanup to go on. Randy, it's second update from you down there in Brevac's pit.
Well, they believe they might have a power steering, Luke. You saw the plume of smoke come out of the 31 truck, and they've gone underneath the hood, gone back down. They're not panicking. One of the guys that was in the pits was John Nemechek. Left side damage to that truck, and they put the roll bar underneath between the tire and the wheel well and straightened him out a little bit. So he's down and away, and Brevac getting held in the pits here for just a moment. He'll be back on the track.
So the crew working on Brevac's entry, the longtime ARCA campaigner from Ashland, Wisconsin, sponsored by the Ho-Chunk Indians, who have opened up a casino on some of their land up in Baraboo, Wisconsin. Rather unique sponsorship idea.
I knew that.
I'm sure you did. Matter of fact, the Ho-Chunk Indians are probably surviving on some of your contributions from over the years. This racetrack is one that really gives a premium on passing. You see, as we ride down the back straightaway here, coming out of turn 4 and out of turn number 2, as we are with Mike Bliss, this track really narrows up on you, buddy, and there's just not a whole lot of real estate to give.
Well, in my opening today, we were talking about 2 lanes. You see the bottom 2 lanes are real dark. Up there, the light part, the reason this light, nobody runs up there. If they get up here, they're in big trouble.
There you see part of the great crowd on hand and what has really been a beautiful day after rain yesterday that washed out push pole qualifying. They qualified this afternoon at noontime, but we are glad you're with us, still working the first caution of the day. About set to go back to green. Hey, the new and official store of Nascar. Nascar Thunder, now open at the Gwinnett Place Mall in Atlanta, Georgia. It's also coming soon to the Haynes Mall in Winston-Salem. It'll be opening up in the middle of August. And the Westtown Mall in Knoxville, Tennessee. They'll open up there in late September of this year. I want to check it out, Nascar Thunder. Shauna, before we go back to green, if Bob Brevac's got to deal with this racetrack without power steering, that's got to be a handful.
Boy, I'll tell you, Eli, it is going to be a handful, especially this early into the race on a short track like this, high bank. It's not a good situation to be in.
Eli, I'll tell you what it's like. It's like having a 70-pound weight on the steering wheel trying to turn it with the power steering off. Now, if they can cut the power steering belt and get rid of the drag that's on there, they'd be okay. But right now, it's very hard to steer.
Brevac will restart in 26th, 1 lap down. Ron Hornaday took the lead at the start, and he's been at the point ever since green is in the air. Through some speedy trying.
See the 80 truck there, that's Joe Ruttman. I guess he's had a talk with Jack Rouse this week, and Jack said turn it up a little bit. They hadn't had a great year, and there's a lot of pressure on Joe Ruttman. We're pulling for him to have a good day today.
Jack's a good racer, but maybe not the most patient of all when it's time to get that vehicle running. Up front, 44 Refner, 7 Resendiz. That's 3rd and 4th. Refner loves this racetrack. Raced here in the ASA, led by a half lap at this track a year ago. Blew the engine in his ASA car with 3 laps to go and didn't win. But he said, man, I'm pumped about this weekend. And there you see Sedgwick and Bliss battling now. That's 7th and 8th spot on your screen. Sedgwick in the 17, Bliss in the 2.
Now you can see them running around the racetrack. The outside groove is not that bad until you get right there, and that's where you lose all the power coming off the corner because you can't pick up the throttle. You see Mike Bliss in the 2 truck just pull away down the straightaway.
Bliss now into 7th, Sedgwick 8th, up to 9th is Skinner. Start at 12th. There's Skinner, a couple of trucks behind Bliss, with whom we're riding.
Eli, that was a good shot there. You can see how loose these trucks get coming up out of the corner, and it's because of the power. When you get back in them, you see them fishtail just a little bit coming up out of the corner. Very dangerous in that spot.
Something's wrong with Keselowski. His truck will lose a couple of positions, and now will lose more going into the corner as you watch Ruttman in the 80 work inside of Ruffner. That is the fourth place scramble now. There's Ruffner, the 44, Sprague behind him in the 24, and Ruffner can't quite keep it down on the low side of the corner.
Well, if he's loose now, just wait till the tires get real hot. You will see him skating around out there. You see Jack Sprague in the green and white truck just behind Ruffner there. He's looking on the inside, trying to get by.
Ruffner's in fifth, Sprague in sixth. 17 of 200 laps are complete. Lapping now beginning as down the pit lane comes Keselowski as Hornaday had gone by him.
Here comes Sprague. There's a floor. Oh, they just about got together there. A bunch of trucks had to check up there.
And that's Brevac on the low side of the track there. Hornaday, or at least Corelli there in the sixth. Ahead of George in the 21.
The 75 there, that's Nathan Bucky. Had the first time in this truck, and he's doing a good job out here. I think he's got a great career ahead of him in not only this division, but in any division he goes into.
Took over earlier this week, Bucky did, from Bobby Gill. You're looking at 10th on back now. Corelli, George, there's Bucky in the 75. 43 is Rich Bickle. Back up front, Hornaday in the 16, around the 60 of Medor. That's Butch Miller, first and second you're looking at, Hornaday and Miller.
Butch is hanging in there good. You can see how straight he's coming off the corner. That's key. We'll watch Hornaday's truck as he starts through the corner. You can see him go up just a little bit. He's diamond in the corner just a little bit to get real good straightaway speed.
That's sixth place now. Sprague in sixth, Bliss, with whom we're riding in seventh. Sedgwick is right behind him in eighth, and then Skinner in ninth as they go around Joe Medor. And now Miller's closing in.
He is closing in, and Butch Miller knows a lot about tire management on this track. Watch him how slow that truck is through the corner. Hornaday is really going down the straightaway, but I believe that Butch Miller's truck is a lot better through the center part of the corner.
And again, Bliss in the 2 just gave a shot to Sprague right there in the truck bed.
That's what I like about this division. They race, they bump, they move each other around, but they never get mad. They just race hard.
25 of 200 laps in the books. One caution thus far for a power steering line off Bob Brevac's truck. Butch Miller was our pole sitter.
I just wonder how long this is going to last, because when you're running inches apart like that, somebody's going to put that chrome horn on in a second. That right front fender, we call that the chrome horn, because there's not a horn on the truck, of course, but you can get their attention with that right front corner.
Right behind these trucks, Bill Sedgwick. He's running in 8th position right now. Randy, what's the story in their pit?
Well, their pit is, they're talking to him. David Hardy, the crew chief, said, be patient, be patient. Boy, that has got to be tough to do. He's in the middle of a 5-car pack with Mike Skinner breathing down his neck. And Skinner is far from patient in this series. But Bill's doing the best he can. As we talked about earlier, tire management is going to be critical here in about another 50 or 60 laps. And Sedgwick's got a great chassis under that car.
Here comes Bliss.
That's 6th place. Off the corner, got him coming down the straightaway. So move Bliss up a position now. Sprague in 7th, Sedgwick is 8th, Skinner 9th, Corelli is 10th, Doug George is 11th, Bucky goes 12th, Richie Bickle is 13th, Jimmy Hensley 14th, Boris Said is 15th, Michael Dockin now 16th, Rick Beebe is 17th, Walker Evans is next in line 18th, then Lance Norick and John Nemechek 19th and 20th. There you see the scramble. as Ruttman begins to move as well. He's in third in that unsponsored truck. Goes around Joe Medore, the sprint car ace from Oklahoma City.
Unsponsored, but a lot of money behind it. Jack Roush is very famous for great Fords, and I tell you, right now he's putting on a great drive, but he'd like to be up front, I'm sure.
Nice squeeze move there by Skinner in the 3 truck. He used Mark Gibson as the pick to get around Sedgwick and pick up the 8th position. No change up front. As we watch the battle mid-pack, Hornaday still leads, putting John Nemechek a lap down. His brother Joe Nemechek came home second today in the NASCAR Busch Series race at Talladega. There's Hornaday, you see, having just gone around John Nemechek.
Eli, you can watch Hornaday. He's getting through traffic a lot better than Butch Miller right now. He put about an 8 truck length lead on him in less than a lap there. Butch Miller got hung up in lap traffic.
Of course, Hornaday's win last week at Louisville broke an 11-week victory drought, which for that team is unusual. 11 weeks, 7 races they had gone without a victory for the Napa truck. But that little problem was solved a weekend ago. Meanwhile, Butch Miller and Joe Ruttman heating up a bit. Miller the 98, Ruttman the 80.
You see Miller taking the low line around the racetrack. Joe Ruttman's running anywhere he can right now, trying to make up distance. Butch is hung up just behind Nemechek there. Watch him gain on him as they come out of the corner here. There he goes on the outside. That's a tough move. That's a power move. He pulls it off and does.
Roush Power will do that for you. So as the second spot changes hands and Ruttman moves a spot up the ladder, there is your race leader, Ron Hornaday. He has led every lap thus far. We're at lap 37. We're under caution, and that is the man who is on the receiving end of some in-the-corner bump and goes. Jack Sprague's Quaker State truck, as you so well put it during our break, Buddy Baker, has a whole lot more spoiler now than moments ago.
Well, you could see what happened there. Sprague was trying to stay pretty low there. Skinner got into the left rear corner and around he went. He hit the wall a little harder than you think. You see the back there, the truck is beat up a little bit, but he is able to continue, and maybe he'll be able to keep in the points race. Here they go down the back straightaway, Eli.
Heading to turn 3. Skinner. There goes the crumple of sheet metal, and off on the excursion to the wall in Missouri. You know, this year Sprague has completed all but 1 lap on the circuit. Coming into the race today, he had completed 2,059 of the 2,060 laps, a contributing factor to being in second spot in the points. The man who's leading the points, Hornaday, has completed every single lap of the season. And that's how the NASCAR point standings work. They reward consistency as much as they reward victories. What does that do now to the truck, buddy, as far as the left rear on a track like this? A major problem?
I don't think so, Eli. The truck looks pretty good, and they did put some green tape on the left-hand side to hold the tail part of the truck together there, so I don't see a lot of damage. If anything, it'll just make a lot of noise, but I don't think it'll hurt it that much.
Sprague didn't lose a lap. He's on the lead lap, last truck on the lead lap. He is in 18th position as we get set to go. 43 laps of 200 complete. This one clicking right along. Green flag from Chris Morgan. Ruttman having to go wide to deal with the lap truck of Keselowski, the 29. That's a lap truck.
He will not be pleased with this right at the moment because he's on a mission. You see, Keselowski, he's racing pretty hard trying to get back in the lead lap. You can't blame these guys for trying as hard as they can to get back in the lead lap, so that's very essential if you plan to win.
Mike Bliss there with a nice move. Butch Miller, the 98 as well, with Resendiz trying to hold his turf in 5th spot. Resendiz is the 7th. There's Skinner.
That's up close and personal right there, too.
Yeah, we're riding with Brian Reffner. Reffner's in 6th, Skinner in 7th. There's Miller, the 98.
Something's askew with Butch Miller's truck. He is not up to speed like he should be. A truck that sits on the pole like that should be running better than he is right now. He's having a handling problem of some kind.
And he loves this track. He is a former winner here in the American Speed Association. 48 laps complete. Hornaday's led since the get-go. Closer to the front, a good scramble as well as we watch Ruffner and Skinner. Bliss also makes a move. He'll get around Joe Ruttman. So a number of great battles on the track. Bliss is now second, Ruttman third. There, Skinner is in sixth, Sedgwick in seventh, and you've got Ruffner running in eighth. Butch Miller is back tonight. There again is Hornaday, the leader, in 16. Keselowski is a lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap if he can. And now we see he is actually, as we double check, he is sideways and gave it a run, but couldn't do it. Trying to get that lap back.
He's showing me a lot of speed though right now. He's running down the leader, and he may get his lap back here. Hornaday goes high. You see him making his move to get back in the lead lap right now. Strong move by Keselowski.
And here comes Bliss, the two. He wants the lead. Hornaday shuts the door. And I guess that was a concern too, buddy. After a while, how long do you mess with the guy who's a lap down before you say, God bless you, go ahead, let me worry about second place?
Well, I'm watching just now. Mike Bliss is moving in on Hornaday. That's Hornaday there in the United NAPA truck. You can see that Bliss is much quicker. I think Hornaday's loose off the corner right now. He's giving way.
The battle for the lead. We're riding along with Mike Bliss. Hornaday in the 16 has led since the green. Got the jump on pole sitter Butch Miller and has led since.
There's something wrong with Hornaday. He's giving up. You see Mike Bliss coming right on by. He's even with him. He'll make the pass down the front straightaway most likely.
Here they come. In front of the main grandstands and back into the banking of one. New leader, Mike Bliss. Mike Bliss has taken the lead here at the I-70 Speedway in Odessa, Missouri, just east of Kansas City on a beautiful Midwest afternoon.
You know, Eli, we heard several of the guys talking in the pits this morning about keeping that right rear tire up under this truck. It's very easy to spin that tire coming off the corner. He may have just heated it up. Hornaday I'm talking about.
Meanwhile, Skinner is closing. That's the leader, Bliss. Skinner now just 2 4/10 seconds back. So he is beginning to rumble after qualifying 12th. 16 Hornaday, 80 is Joe Ruttman. That's second and third right now. Randy, what's the deal with Hornaday? Just have to run it too hard to deal with Keselowski, or what's the problem if further?
He's not saying a whole lot, Eli. I asked if he said anything in the car. He said nothing, but I did speak with Joe Ruttman before this race, and Ruttman told me tire management of the right rear tire is everything. Now, Hornaday just comes over the radio and said, guys, it feels great. So, we'll just have to wait and see, but he is backed up just a little bit. He's got Ruttman now breathing down his neck.
Meanwhile, Sprague is going a lap down as the leader, Bliss, goes around him. There you see Bliss. He has just gone by the Quaker State truck of Jack Sprague. So Sprague in 18th position, now 1 lap in arrears, and that could be a $10,000 problem right there. Remember, the Gatorade Front Runner Award in this series, $10,000 to the point leader at the season's halfway mark, and that is today. The point leader, when this Western Auto 200 is over, gets a $10,000 bonus. Good scramble now behind the leader. Sedgwick right there, the 17, closing in on Skinner, the 3. Sprague gets out of the way. He is now a lap truck. I'll tell you something, this series ideally suited to this racetrack.
Oh, these trucks put on a great show. Just like the fights you've seen for position. Oh, look at this. Resendiz is moving on Joe Ruttman here. That's for third spot there.
Exactly. Third place. The QVC truck. Does he have the power? Remember how strong Ruttman was to the outside earlier.
Ruttman, give him plenty of room in the center part of the corner there to make a move on the inside, but they have more problems. That's Mike Skinner in the 3 truck there moving in for that spot also, so this is going to get heated up in just a second.
Plus, they have to go around John Nemechek. You saw his truck there moments ago. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The leader is Bliss, and Hornaday is 2nd. That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th at lap number 65.
You know, Eli, we were talking about the trucks just a second ago. Some of them that are off a little bit on the handling, at halftime, they get to stop and work on these trucks, and that puts everybody back into the race again.
Up front, we'll just keep you informed as Resendiz now goes for 3rd. Ruttman heels the inside.
Joe will lose several positions here. You see Sedgwick in the 17 truck there. He's going to make the pass on Ruttman also, it looks like.
Skinner in the 3. Up the banking goes Ruttman, so he'll lose to Resendiz, Skinner, and Sedgwick. Up front, it is still a 2.7-second lead for that truck. Mike Bliss, 2 7/10 of a second over Ron Hornaday, who's currently 2nd. 68 laps complete. That is Mike Bliss. He is the race leader in the Western Auto 200 by 2.9 seconds, nearly 3 seconds. The advantage on Ron Hornaday. He is now running in the 2nd spot after leading much of the early stage of the afternoon. Jack Sprague, who had problems earlier, buddy, it's got to be a whole lot worse than just that touch on the wall, because he's not getting around at all.
Well, what I think happened when he got the left side up into the wall, it knocked the toe end off on the truck, and what that does is make it just hunt all over the racetrack. You really don't have any control over the front end.
Oh, Michael Dokken.
Whoa, hard in the inside wall.
Michael Dokken, caution on the Speedway. Lap number 80 is when it will fly upon the leaders. And caution for the 3rd time this afternoon. Dokken was running in 16th spot. He's disgusted. Look at him. You could just see him through the window net. Took his gloves off and just threw them down in disgust. Michael Dokken had a good run going. So caution on the Speedway for the 3rd time this afternoon. In the garage area, Johnny Chapman, Kenny Allen, Mike Hurlburt has parked his truck, and now obviously Michael Dokken will as well after his spin. While you were gone, Bob Keselowski spun his truck and went back a lap down, although we did not have a caution. He just did the run, saved it, and then kept on going. But let's take a look at again what has happened here over the last moment or so, buddy. Had some help, maybe Resendiz.
Looks like Resendiz might have got into the back there, turned him into the inside wall. That's a lot of damage there. You can see where it busted the radiator and the oil cooler where he hit the wall there. It's a lot of damage off the nose.
Let's give you a rundown. Mike Bliss is the leader. Ron Hornaday is 2nd. Dave Resendiz 3rd. Mike Skinner is 4th, and Bill Sedgwick is 5th. Joe Ruttman is running 6th. Butch Miller is 7th. Rick Corelli is 8th. Doug George is 9th. And Nathan Butke is now in 10th spot. 11th position goes to Rich Bickle. You've got Jimmy Hensley in 12th. Those trucks on the lead lap. Then you drop back to Rick Beebe. He is the first machine a lap down now, followed by Boris Said in 15th position. Walker Evans in 16th. Lonnie Cox is 17th. Jack Sprague, who makes a pit stop, he is in 18th. Then Mark Gibson and John Nemechek, 19th and 20th. Let's go and check in with Barry Dodson down there in the leaders' pit.
Well, Barry, the advantage that you guys had is now gone. We see you diving into your box of tricks already before halfway. What's he telling you about the truck?
Truck's good. It's a little tight in the center. We'll probably leave it alone. It was good last week in the center, and it went away. So we're okay, you know. It's tough in a bull ring like this, dealing with lap trucks, not cars. And but we're doing okay. Hornaday's a bull. We just got to watch him here. They're good. They're awful good.
If he's got any type of problem whatsoever, would it be loose coming off?
No, I think that's where our plus is. And I told him, I said, just think about Wilkesboro. That's what you're up against. It's a little more banking. Don't spin your tires.
Okay, DeShawna Robinson.
All right, I'm with Randy Dawes, Dave Resendez, crew chief. He's told me Dave's running real good. Dave spoke earlier about tires, and he was a little concerned about the wear on tires. Randy, what do you have about tires?
Well, the tires aren't our problem. We're a little bit loose in, a little bit loose off. So I think we're going to throw some front bar at it at the halftime. He's hanging on for dear life right now.
Okay, thanks.
So 14 trucks on the lead lap. Bliss the leader, Hornaday second. Resendiz will restart in third. Skinner fourth, Sedgwick fifth, Rutman sixth, Miller is seventh, and Corelli, George, and Bucky your top 10. Bickle, Hensley, Beebe, and Ruffner, the other trucks on the lead lap. And through the speedy dry they go.
Hornaday's cooled the tires down a little bit, but I still think in the long run that Bliss is going to be the man right now. That Barry Dobson had a lot of experience over the years with Rusty Wallace and several other people in Winston Cup, moved to the Truck Series, and I tell you, he knows how to hook chassis up on the truck.
Thing is, though, now 14 or 16 laps from halfway, tires are starting to become a factor, as we were hearing from pit lane, and that's something to put into the memory bank for later, buddy, as we get to 14, 16, 20 laps from the end of this event, as you watch the third, fourth, and fifth place battle, Resendiz, Skinner, and Sedgwick. Tires could be a factor as we head to the checkered flag later on.
Here comes Sedgwick. He looks under Skinner. Skinner closed the door, but look, Skinner, it's looking underneath Resendiz as they come off the corner. No place to go.
Now the vent visor running order, the original deflector, vent visor, part of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and they will bring you that full field summary. The two Ernie Irvin-owned trucks you saw there on the rundown. Ruffner in 14th on the lead lap, and Horace said...
Whoa, little contact. They had a little contact there. Sedgwick made the best of it, got by Skinner. Now, what'll happen now going in the next corner?
That's fourth spot. That's just changed hands. Lap number 88, just a dozen laps from halfway. Mike Bliss shows the way. He took the lead at lap number 56 and has held it for the last 32 laps here at the I-70 Speedway. We're coming right back. And the $2,000 from Gatorade, the front runner award that goes at each and every NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series event. Then at lap 101, we will have the 5-minute halftime break. First to third right now, from first place back to this battle you're watching, is nearly 5 seconds. Earlier, these two trucks got together. Remember this?
Honk, honk.
Coming through. That was a short while ago, and the battle continues on the racetrack right there at lap number 95.
Sedgwick's running very, very well, but you can see that Resendiz in the 7 truck right there is running just equal to him down the straightaways. It's just who gets in the corner the best, who has the best lap. I wouldn't be surprised to see Resendiz go back by him.
Meanwhile, Bliss has caught a lot of traffic. Bliss, number 2, the leader. Sprague right in front of him. Lance Norrick in the 19. There, Sprague goes another lap down. And now he's closing in, the leader is. Said, and on Ruffner, and on Norrick, who he is now bypassed. A lot of traffic to deal with for the race leader as we work to lap 97.
Well, you can see Mike Bliss being very careful in lap traffic there, not to get himself in trouble. He's got a great...
Oh, turn 3!
There goes Ruttman.
Gibson into the side of Ruttman. Spinning is Lonnie Cox to the low side of the track. Here comes Ruffner. Here comes Boris Said. They'll manage to get through. Caution. Lap number 99. Joe Ruttman was running 11th when he and Gibson got together. Everybody has continued. There's Ruttman's truck, but we're under the yellow.
You can see just behind the left rear tire there where he touched him, and that's all it takes on this racetrack to turn you around.
They were going up into turn number 3. We'll take a look again. Gibson is the 15 truck.
Okay, you see Ruttman up. He starts down the back straightaway. Gibson goes in hard. Ruttman comes down. Really, Gibson had nowhere to go.
No. And there's Lonnie Cox in the 36. And then to the high side went Boris Said, the low side Brian Reffner. And we are under caution. Lap number 100. Halfway home in the Western Auto 200. We're live at the I-70 Speedway in Odessa, Missouri. Find out exactly what went on out there.
I'm here with Joe Ruttman. Joe, little bad luck out there. What happened?
Well, we were slipping and sliding, and needless to say, I probably was trying to use up too much of the racetrack and got clipped a little bit, but fortunately we didn't lose a lap. That was really what we were hanging on for, to try to get it in here and get it worked on. And I would think, we hope we're going to throw a bunch of stuff at it to try to get it better, because we got a long ways to go.
Right, it doesn't look too bad. What kind of changes are you going to make for the second half?
What are we going to change, you said?
Yeah, what changes for the second half?
Is the competitors listening? Well, I guess I could tell them as bad as we're running, No, we're changing the sway bar and the panhard bar in the back, and we're even talking about lowering the whole track bar in the back, and air pressure, and I don't know what else. That's just what they tell me.
Okay, to you, Randy.
Well, Mike Bliss has had a great chassis under this truck. What about it? Any changes to it, Mike?
Well, that's what Barry and I were talking about. Last 3 or 4 races we've got bit because we left the thing alone during halftime. We're going to do a little bit of something, but it's just flying. This AC Ford, I haven't flipped a tire all day. I hate to touch it, but we're going to do a little something just to say what we did. It might not even make a difference. So I just want to say hi to Marlene and Jim Smith at home, and we're taking her to the front, I hope.
Okay, go ahead and tell us what you're going to do. Nobody will know.
Well, I don't know. Barry didn't tell me.
Oh, there you go. The crew chief won't even tell him.
Oh, Mike Bliss, he's looking forward to getting to next week's stop on the series. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series head to Indianapolis Raceway Park, where Bliss has already won this year in a USAC Silver Crown machine. Let's go back to Shauna Robinson. I see her pacing down there near the Dave Resendiz truck.
Dave, you're running fourth. You look real good. What do you think?
I think it's quite a ride out there. Everybody's getting real bad loose, except that number 2 truck, boy, he's driving away. I'm glad he's a Ford. Really want to see a Ford win today. The guys at QVC, Tanya Tucker Salsa team, we're making a few adjustments here, putting a spring rubber in, a little bit of bite, playing with some air pressure. I think we're going to be real good and probably pass a few of those trucks in front of us for the second half.
You spoke to me earlier about tires. Are you feeling anything? How do you feel about that?
Well, we've been fighting it all weekend. Had a good qualifying run, and I can see why now. We were set up a little bit too much on the loose side. But like I say, we're going to try a spring rubber, a little bit of air pressure is really going to help us a bunch of second half, and hopefully we'll be able to get by 3 trucks and pull down another victory.
All right, to you, Randy.
Bill Sedgwick, third at the break. Bill, the thing is running right around the bottom. It appears, is it loose enough for you to be able to go up there and take the lead?
I'll tell you what, this diehard bunch is awesome. It's a little loose in getting in the corner. It's a little more than I like, but I'm dealing with it, and we're making little adjustments. It's not over till it's over.
Okay, that's Bill Sedgwick. Wick looking for his first win of his career, and he's got a good chassis under the thing. He might do it today.
That is Bill Sedgwick. He drives the diehard truck for Darrell Waltrip Motorsports. 100 laps complete. Why is Dave Resendiz running so well? Well, maybe that is the reason why. That's Larry the Lizard. He won it in an arcade game at Kmart. It's been on the truck since Tucson. They've had great runs ever since. Bob Brevac, Mike Skinner, Michael Dockin, Joe Ruttman. Those are the cautions of the day. The trucks that are out, Johnny Chapman, Kenny Allen, Mike Hurlbert, and Michael Dockin. And you are up to speed. The need for speed. And NASCAR is bringing it here to the I-70 Speedway, as you can imagine, just off Interstate 70, which runs right outside this racetrack. That's where we're all going to be in December. Hope you can join us on the Big Red Boat. There are still a few cabins available, and you see the number to call. The Big Red Boat with the folks from TNN, number of drivers. I'll be along, all heading to the Bahamas. Kyle will be there, Kyle Petty, Morgan Shepherd, Ted Musgrave, David Lee Murphy, the country music star. Call that number, 1-800-277-8605. There are still some cabins available. Let's take a look at the running order for you so you'll know exactly how your favorite trucks are running as we get to go green here in just about one more lap. All of those trucks on the lead lap. Doug George, great run. Richie Bickle in the 10th spot. The top 14 are on the lead lap right now. Rick Beebe, Jimmy Hensley, Brian Refner, Joe Ruttman. That is your lead lap. Everybody else at least one lap down, or many others are many laps down. What kind of adjustments have we seen, Randy? Are they looking mostly at some chassis adjustments, tire change pressure, and air pressure? What's the deal?
Well, there were a lot of other things as well, Eli, like springs, of course, but tire pressure seems to be the thing. These guys have not run under the sun since they've been here, and I heard some of the tire pressures building up as much as 19 pounds on the right side. So the recommended pressure is 40 on the right, 30 on the left, and a bunch of guys are trying to go below that, but they don't want to go too far down. So that's what I've seen up and down pit road is what to do with the tire pressure. We'll see if they guessed right and who's going to go to the front or who can stay there.
Wow, I'm going to tell you something. That's serious because they say that 1 pound of air pressure in the radial tire is equal to 50 pounds of spring, so that gives you an idea.
Here we go, 100 laps down, 100 remaining in the Western Auto 200. It's live on TNN Motorsports. There goes Hornaday, the 16, just ahead, battling for the lead.
Hornaday has to ambush him right now. We know that Bliss has a good truck later on, but right now Hornaday needs to build a cushion and try to stay ahead of the number 2 truck of Bliss.
Some good racing, middle of the pack. Trucks went 3 wide for a moment. Riding with Lance Norrick. Butch Miller in the 98 going by. 3 is Skinner, and ahead of them, problems. Norrick out of shape. John Nemechek hard on the binders. What a great piece of driving by the Bell South Mobility truck. Norrick spun directly in front of Nemechek, and caution is on the speedway. And how John didn't tag him, I don't know. Heck of a job at lap 103. The caution will come out.
Good bit of damage on Norrick's truck. He'll have to come in and work on that boy a little bit, I think.
So the leader has the caution as Mike Simons, the Pace truck driver, picks the field up. Mike from Marion, Virginia. And there you see Lance Norrick's machine. Again, word is if they can get a Ford power plant ready, Norrick could be moving from Dodge to Ford in time for next weekend's race at Indianapolis.
Dodge Ram has won a lot of awards from a lot of experts, from a lot of magazines. But according to a survey of new vehicle owners by Strategic Vision, Ram is also winner of the Total Quality Award for Best Owner Experience in its class for the 2nd year in a row.
Back to green here at the I-70 Speedway in Odessa, Missouri. Hornaday, the leader, and he gets the good jump again. They are very much like his truck owner, Dale Earnhardt, who owns this truck along with Teresa Earnhardt. Always get those good restarts.
He needs to. Here comes, you can see Bliss moving in there in 2nd place in number 2 truck. Bill Sedgwick in 3rd there. He's running right there, nose to tail with him.
Remember, Sedgwick is one of those close but no cigar guys we talked about early. In the 17th truck, wants his first series win ever, but this is the battle for the lead, riding with Mike Bliss. Got him at the line.
You know, Hornaday may lose more than 1 spot here. Whoa, little trouble there. Now that's how to get back in the lead. That's a little pinch job there, and Bliss got a little sideways, and Hornaday jumped back into the lead.
So Bliss leads lap 108. Hornaday retakes the lead at lap 109 of the 200. Joe Ruttman on the pit lane. The hood is up on his truck. He's been in now for an extended stay, dropping many laps down.
No, Eli, I don't believe he's going to be able to hold Mike Bliss off for very long. Bliss is looking to the outside. If he makes that move, I'm going to yodel like Tarzan. He does not make it. Look at Bill Sedgwick move in the 2nd spot.
I would have paid him to make that move, to hear you yodel like Tarzan. All right, so Bliss now relegated back to 3rd. And around goes Walker Evans in the wall in turn 4. Walker Evans. As Hornaday continues to lead, Walker Evans the veteran off-road racer, gravitating off the road again, stopped by the wall. Let's take you back a little bit now. Remember back on lap 103, we had our 5th caution of the day when Lance Norrick spun. We never really got a good look at that again, buddy. Let's go back to lap 103. Norrick's the 19 truck.
He's in the middle there. You see him going in. He gets, I don't know whether he got touched or maybe got a little bit into the 6th truck of Corelli. You see him go around. Look at John Nemechek miss him there.
Riding now with Norrick. And there's Nemechek, who just got on the binders, the 8 truck.
Don't you just hate to hear that metal when it goes...
Unbelievable. So we are working the caution. Joe Ruttman in the pits as a result of that incident. There's Joe, 6 laps down Shauna. He's in 22nd now.
Yeah, Joe's been in the pit. They had to change the upper control arm. When he bends the upper control arm, which controls the camber of the tire, that really affects your handling, and that's the problem we've been having with the Roush machine.
On the restart, there's Hornaday, the leader. The next truck in line, the 28, that's Boris Sed. He is the Trans Am racer from Jack Roush's stable, driving an Ernie Irvin truck, and Sed is not on the lead lap. Sedgwick, the 17, is in second.
See Mike Skinner there, he's kind of tangled up in traffic back in the field. There's good racing everywhere, up front, middle part of the pack, and all the way back in here.
There you see Resendiz in the 7th, Skinner in the 3, at his 4th and 5th position. Corelli in the number 6 truck, he is running 6th. Repairs complete to Walker Evans' truck. He'll be heading back onto the Speedway. Nope, he's going to go to the garage. Walker Evans goes to the garage as the 5th retiree of the afternoon.
See Sedgwick there moving in 2nd place and really pulling down on Hornaday. He has a very, very fast truck. Look how low he can run in the corner. Hornaday will have a hard time keeping both Sedgwick and Bliss there in the 2 truck. Both of those guys are flying around this racetrack.
The full field summary you're seeing in the upper left of the screen, brought to you by the original vent visor, the most practical accessory for your truck. Lap 117 of 200. Sedgwick. He wants it so bad. He's not...
Oh, don't do that. Oh, don't do it again.
He hasn't even led a lap this year, Sedgwick. He wants it that bad.
That was awful close. I don't know what's happened to Hornaday. It looks like he checked up a little bit. He may be getting a little bit loose. I can't tell, but you can see him waving there. He's having a problem.
Whoa. Again, the truck kicks out on Hornaday.
Yeah, he's got a problem. You can see the back of the truck just jump out. Now he's back under power again. I can't figure this deal out.
Darrell Waltrip, if you're watching in Talladega, remember your blood pressure. Sedgwick drives for Darrell Waltrip. In the 17, that's Bliss in the 2. He has led a good bit today.
Boy, oh boy, that's hard to figure. Hornaday dropped back.
Trouble! Oh, a truck rolls! A truck rolls in the corner. Keselowski.
It's on fire underneath the left front wheel there, too.
Caution. Caution. Keselowski went up the banking, hit the wall, rolled, and that wall did its job, kept him in the ballpark. But Bob Keselowski from Rochester, Michigan, you see him getting out of the truck. Now the wall is broken. There you see where the truck hit.
Wow.
My goodness, that was a hit. Bob Keselowski. There he is, okay, no doubt shaken. Let's look at it again and show you exactly what happened in real time. Let's just strap on here and watch. He was to the outside of Spray. Now, I'm not saying that Jack touched him, understand, but he was going to the outside of the Quaker State truck. And it was very, very difficult to tell from our pictures exactly what launched him into the wall.
Well, I tell you, it just didn't take a second before he was in the wall. Never even had a chance to slow down any at all.
Well, you know, you're doing 106, what was the last lap here? 106 miles an hour for the leader on the last lap.
That tells you how hard he hit right there. That wall's been here for years and never been broken.
On the pit lane, John Nemechek is making a stop. Lonnie Cox is making a stop. Rutman is still in. Sprague is on the pit lane. We're coming right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Western Auto 200 on TNN is brought to you by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead. And by tangy Heinz 57 steak sauce. Let's eat.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at the I-70 Speedway, Odessa, Missouri, just 40 miles east of Kansas City, under caution for the 7th time as a result of Bob Keselowski's wild ride in turn 1. Let's see if we can pick it up again. There, he was already gone, and again, Sprague is going by, so we can't tell whether Sprague's truck was involved at all. Randy, I know you're with Keselowski. What's he saying?
Bob, a frightening wreck for you. Are you okay?
Yeah, I believe so. They're going to take me out here in a minute. I'm just a little out of breath. It's starting to come back, though. Took my breath away a little bit.
Have you ever been involved in anything like that before?
No, I've never been on my head before in my life. That was the first time for that deal.
Well, one thing we don't want to do is stop him or impede his progress from getting to the infield care center. That's what they're going to do, take him and check him over. But wow, what a ride for this veteran.
So anyway, that was Bob Keselowski. A scary, scary moment. How do you just put that out of your mind, Buddy Baker?
Well, the thing that I'm looking at, look how the roll cage held the roof of that truck up. That's a well-built truck, and that's one thing you have to give NASCAR a pat on the back for. Those trucks are checked every week to make sure they're as safe as they possibly can be. And that roof right there is the same height it was before he started turning over on it.
So we are at lap number 125 right now as the field continues to work under the caution. In case you might have missed it, they announced that next year's NASCAR Craftsman truck season is going to be opening up at Walt Disney World Speedway at Orlando, Florida, January the 19th. Those of you down in Central Florida, it'll be a 200-mile race, and they're talking about a minimum purse of some $450,000 in posted prize money. The Indy Racing League event at Disney will be the following weekend, the 25th of January, so this is the weekend prior to the IRL event at Walt Disney World Speedway, but a new track being announced for 1997.
Eli, I'll tell you one thing. Nobody ever leaves a truck race unsatisfied that they didn't have a great show.
That's the truth. It's going to take them a bit now to clean things up out there in turn number 1, but again, importantly, Bob Keselowski okay. We're going to break away and take care of some business, and we'll come back with more of the Western Auto 200 live on TNN Motorsports. Welcome back, everybody. We are under a red flag condition here at the I-70 Speedway after Bob Keselowski's truck did the barrel roll. He is just fine. We've already had him on the telecast, but he has taken out a chunk of the wall up there in turn number 1, and the NASCAR officials, along with the staff here at the I-70 Speedway, are taking care of repairs, and consequently the trucks have all been parked on the backstretch, and there is the Keselowski machine, sponsored by Winnebago. It is far the worse for wear. Let's get back to what we were talking about, Buddy, before we broke away, about getting into an accident of that proportion when a vehicle gets launched and rolls. I couldn't imagine getting back into a truck, a car, whatever, the next weekend somewhere. How do you put that out of your mind, or do you?
You really don't. You remember the times you turn over your whole racing career, and I guarantee you Keselowski will never forget going in that corner. Now, the nice part is it does not scare you when it's happening. It's after you get stopped and you start looking around and realize, hey, I've just turned over 3 times. The truck's on fire. And everything that starts then the heart starts really pounding.
Right now, all the drivers are staying in their trucks, as you can cleanly see. They're assessing the damage to the wall out there in turn number 1 and determining exactly how long everybody is going to be under a red before they let the drivers out of their trucks. But this is now at lap 126 of 200, as we have a moment here to take a look at some other racing that's been going on around America. Let's bring you up to speed, and then more of the Western Auto 200. We're coming right back. Take a look at this. It's time now for the Auto Week in Racing. Last weekend, it was Tim Steele from Michigan who went to victory lane and became the winningest super speedway driver in ARCA history. The Nascar Craftsman Truck Series was on the short track of Louisville, Kentucky, and Ron Hornaday survived 67 laps of caution to grab the win. And to the victor goes the spoils. And at Pocono International Raceway, the NASCAR Winston Cup contingent challenging that racetrack 2.5 miles around, Rusty Wallace in the Miller car wins the Miller 500 on a busy weekend in racing. You can call 1-800-232-1522 now for a 52-week subscription to Auto Week at the special TV price of just $19.95. That's the lowest price ever. Every week, Auto Week is the first with all the inside news of racing, personalities, driving impressions, everything. So call now for Auto Week, 1-800-232-1522. Don't delay. This offer is limited. Under a red flag condition here at the I-70 Speedway, just east of Kansas City, Missouri, after Bob Keselowski's truck barrel rolled and took with it some of the retaining wall in turn number 1. So it's given our crews a chance to get out to the racetrack, and Shauna Robinson has sidled up alongside Mike Skinner's truck.
Mike, we're past halfway. You're sitting in 5th right now. Do you think you got a chance?
I think so. I think right now, track position's hurting us real bad, and these guys up here are racing awfully hard. It could be a deal where, patience could be a good deal for us. We're going to sit here and ride for a little while. If something comes up, we'll take it. But, those guys are racing very hard. Good chance of an accident up there in front. So, accident happens, we'll try to ride by it.
How about the red flag situation? How does that affect you, being that you're pumped up as drivers are and you got your rhythm going? How does this stop going to make you feel when you restart?
Well, I think we'll be all right. As far as concentration, it's not going to hurt me at all. I just hope that it doesn't do something to these Goodyear tires. Goodyear's always brings us a real good tire. And, in practice, we kept cycling the tires a lot. And we thought we were a lot worse than we were, and I think it was because we were putting the tires through so many cycles. If the cycle, heating it up, cooling it down hurts it a little bit, that could hurt this truck a little bit more than I've seen it hurt some others. But if that doesn't come into play, I think we'll be all right. And I think we can, squeeze a top 5 finish out of this thing, and they keep racing like they are. There's going to be some of them going around in circles, but I bet it's a heck of a show.
To you, Randy.
Ron Hornaday looking for his second straight win. Hey, you're in a real slugfest with the guy behind you, Bill Sedgwick. What about it?
Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to see these tires here, and I don't know if he knows that or not. And he's trying to get underneath me. I give him the whole outside groove. So last couple of laps of maybe match, I ran him pretty hard. But if he wants to get by, I get him the outside because the first half we ran the Snapper Chevrolet a little too hard, and I didn't have no tires to bliss. So trying to take it conservative, see how hard we can get off the corner and save these rear tires on this thing.
So pretty much it is tire management, knowing you can't get any more skins the rest of the way.
Well, we've been here all weekend. Yesterday we practiced in the rain all day. It was nice and cool. And this morning we come out here and did the same thing and qualified. And all of a sudden the sun comes out, the trucks are real loose. So made a lot of big changes, which we shouldn't have, but it's still helping. I mean, Snapper Chevrolet's going to go front.
Okay, good luck second half.
Right now, the trucks all lined up on the back straightaway. Out in turn number 1, Dennis Huth, NASCAR's Vice President of Administration, has joined the cleanup. That is Dennis in the black shirt and pants there. He is helping orchestrate the wall repairs after Bob Keselowski's truck impacted. The gentleman in the print-colored shirt right there is Ted Carlson. He is the president of the racetrack, and they've also got one of those big Euclid tires you see there that has now been brought into position to further help bolster the track. There's Carlson on the right of your screen in the print shirt there with his foot up on the retaining wall. He is the owner of the racetrack. There is another race following this, although it won't be on TNN. The local late model stocks will be running here today. So this is a busy racing day yet to come once the trucks wrap up. So a lot going on, but they're going to make sure that wall is suitably repaired before we go back to work. 126 laps on the board of 200. A red flag here at the I-70 Speedway. We're coming right back. Of Kansas City has proclaimed this week NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and I-70 Speedway Week in Kansas City. Mayor Emanuel Cleaver gave the track that proclamation earlier in the week, and all of the folks here, but rightfully proud of that. But now we are proud to say we're going back to work. Lap 130 is when the green is going back in the air.
Holiday needs to get a good jump down into turn 1. He got it. Morris said there in the 28 is in second. You can see that Bill Sedgwick in third is second, rather, is held up a little bit going down the back straightaway.
Right. Remember, Sed in the 28 truck is a lap down. But he is right there second on the racetrack, though 14th overall in scoring. The next truck in line, the 24 Jack Sprague, also 4 laps down.
He did a good job of fixing that truck. He wrecked it very hard in the first segment of this race, but you can see they did the repairs on it, and it's flying around here.
Sedgwick has to work hard to get around both the 28 and 24. Again, they are lapped trucks. Oh, and now Corelli got onto the side of Resendiz, but Resendiz saved it.
Made me jump to another chair.
Almost had the whole field stack up that time around. Randy's in the pit area with an update.
Well, there was a lot of lobbying going on around for the 17 truck to try to get his lap back from those two last cars who get up there and challenge the 16. He has since gone by the 28 truck, and now Sprague challenges to get his lap back, but now they're satisfied down here.
Now Sprague is 4 laps down, remember. The 24 truck is 4 laps down, so if he gets by Hornaday in the 16, he'll still be 3 down. Here's what happened a second ago up there in turn 4. Watch what happened with the Resendiz, the 7, and Corelli, the 6.
Ooh, Corelli got into the left rear corner there. They were both very lucky.
We are now at lap 135 of 200, back live here at the I-70 Speedway. Resendiz is 5th, Corelli is 6th. Those 2 trucks right there. You know who else is doing well? We've not talked much about Nathan Butke, the young man from Randleman, North Carolina, who took over the Spears truck for Bobby Gill this week. He's running in the top 10 now for the lead.
Sedgwick got into Hornaday again. They made contact a little earlier in the race. You see him check up, and now he's pulling up beside Hornaday as they head down the front straightaway.
Remember that Sedgwick and Hornaday have a relationship from back on the West Coast days when they were driver and crew chief. Oh, and they bump a couple of times, and Bliss is there. And you've got caution after Joe Madore spins, and now Sedgwick spins. He goes into the grass in turn 3. Oh, my goodness. Everywhere you look, trucks are spinning. Caution on the speedway. It looked as though Skinner banged into Sedgwick after Madore had spun in turn 2. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton first off. He's down with Hornaday's team, and there's smoke from behind Hornaday's truck.
I would say they're going to have to bring the 16 truck in to pull the left rear fender away from the left rear tire. We're waiting for his arrival on pit road. There's nothing they can do if he stays out on the racetrack. But the 17 crew upset, the 16 crew upset, and they're not the only ones.
You know, Eli, just a few seconds ago, the Skinner said if I just sit here and bide my time, I'll be moving up without passing anybody. He's moved all the way in the 4th spot right now, and if Hornaday pulls in, that'll move him up to 3rd.
Let's go back and see what happened to Bill Sedgwick. While we were watching the action at the other end of the track, here's what happened going up to 3. Sedgwick?
Whoa, you can see Skinner just run right up there. Hornaday put the brakes on, and it was really a chain reaction.
Yeah, you can't fault Skinner there at all, you'd think. It was just a chain reaction. When it happens in a hurry. That's Doug Williams, crew chief for Ron Hornaday. He's got some work ahead of him. 4.
Eli, he's definitely smoking the left rear. I don't know how bad it's rubbing. Maybe it'll just rub a little bit, and, once it gets a little bit of the rubber off the side of the tire there, it won't be a problem, but he's rubbing pretty hard.
Great battle for second. Bliss outside of Sedgwick. Bliss has it. Sedgwick now in third. Then the lap truck Sprague, followed by Skinner in fourth. The lap truck Rutman, followed by Resendiz in fifth.
Good luck. Hornaday has quit smoking the tire like he was, but there's still a little bit of smoke right in the center part of the corner. Maybe it's rubbing the sidewall off there a little bit and it won't smoke so bad.
What are you hearing, Randy?
I think you've got it, buddy. It's going to be awfully close. We have seen the smoke dissipate. Under those caution laps, Hornaday was coming down on the side of the racetrack and jerking the steering wheel back and forth, trying to physically get the fender to get away from the left rear tire. Kind of ingenious, and it may work for him, but we'll have to wait and see if it rubs it down a little bit.
Well, he's still got some 54 laps, 25 miles or so to go here. That's not a short distance. Of course, these Goodyear tires have inner liners on the right side, and the problem here is on the left side as well.
Eli, if I was Bliss right now, I'm sure he can smell the tire rubbing just a little bit. He's wanting by pretty bad right now. If I was Mike Bliss, I would try to get by Hornaday just in case he was to blow that tire out.
That's the battle for the lead. Those are the only two men who have led today. Hornaday the first 55 laps, Bliss the next 55. Hornaday led 5 laps, Bliss led 1, and Hornaday has now led the last 40.
There you can see, Bliss is looking underneath the left rear corner there, but Hornaday got a great drive off the corner. We got a tremendous fight, though, for third place.
Crew Chief Doug Williams looking on, not totally enamored with what he is seeing. He's in charge of Hornaday's efforts. Let's go to his pit.
Robbie, are you going to bring him in? Is it affecting his handling?
No, I better can't hear you. Snap United. Brake Chevrolet truck's good right now. We had a little cheap nut rub. It's not affecting Ron at all. We're just trying to stay out front and save our points lead.
Looks like they are okay. Back up to you, Eli.
Lap 152 on the board right now.
Eli, Mike Skinner's moved into third place now. He's not holding back, and we got a battle for the lead. They're racing everywhere around here.
Lonnie Cox on the pit lane. The hood is up on his truck. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is what everybody's watching. Turn 3, lap 153. Skinner is running in third spot with the lap truck of Rutman. Sedgwick running in fourth with the lap truck of Sprague. Then Resendiz and Corelli in fifth and sixth. They're further behind them.
Boy, Mike Bliss has tried the outside, he's tried the inside, he just cannot get the angle. If you talk about somebody who knows how to protect the lead, Hornaday's doing a great job in the truck just in front of you here.
Hornaday ran well here last year, you might remember, until mechanical problems cropped up and ended his afternoon. So that fact that Hornaday's leading here shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Lap 156 of 200. Outside, inside. Nothing there. Around Joe Madore. And at lap 157, the battle is ongoing. Getting around Lance Norrick, dealing with traffic now. The leader is Ron Hornaday. Davis at lap 161.
Hornaday got hung up with Brian Ruffner on the bottom side. You see Ruffner's running quite well. Now he moves up just a little bit as Bliss goes by on the outside and Hornaday running second. But Skinner is there in third.
Around Brevac, here comes Skinner now. He'll take second. Hornday gave it everything he could. Just couldn't hang on any longer, and now Bliss is getting gone with the lead. There already you see about 8 or 10 truck lengths from first back to second.
I don't think I'll believe Mike Skinner anymore when he said this truck's not handling. That truck is like it's on a wire around here, and he's doing a great job running in second right now, and he's actually closing in on Mike Bliss, who's leading the race.
Rick Beebe going to the garage area, the local favorite. He is retiring his truck at lap number 165. Too bad he was staying in the lead lap here today, doing a great effort, great job. Meanwhile, Bliss the leader, Skinner now in second spot, Shauna Robinson.
Okay, I spoke to Rich Burgess, crew chief for Mike Skinner. He said he felt they definitely had something for him here today. He was a little concerned about the rear tire wear. He said as long as that held off, they had a definite shot at winning.
Well, he's got to chase down and bypass Mike Bliss.
Well, he's chasing him down. Whether he can pass him or not, that's another story. But you can see there's only 4 truck lengths lead now between the first truck and the second one there, Skinner.
Skinner, 3 wins, 2 poles, 8 top 5s, and 9 top 10 finishes in 11 races. He won last year's race here, started third, and led 130 of the 200 laps, but that was last year.
Eli, here we go. Some lap traffic here. You can see Mike Skinner closing in even more down the front straightaway.
Around John Nemechek. Lap 169, just 31 laps to go. And you see the separation there among the top 5. There's the battle for 4th and 5th. Sedgwick in 4th. Corelli in 5th. Behind them, Resendiz in 6th. Doug George, a super run in 7th. Nathan Butke is 8th. Jimmy Hensley 9th. Rich Bickle is 10th. Butch Miller, our pole sitter, 11th. Those 11 trucks are on the lead lap. Take the wide route around Lonnie Cox.
See Sedgwick moving his truck to a wider line through the corner. He's trying to find somewhere he can get hooked up. Just a few seconds ago, he was up there with a chance to take the lead. Now he's backflipped just a little bit. You see Corelli there. He won at Bristol. He really gets around the bank track like this one very well.
Meanwhile, it is all Bliss for Mike. 173 of 200 laps complete. Dave Resendiz, 75, Nathan Butke. That is now 7th and 8th spot. What a super run for young Nathan Butke. And the 21 truck just ahead of them, Doug George. He is now running up in the 6th position, just ahead there, that yellow truck.
Wow, he's giving Resendiz a little horn treatment there. Beep, beep.
There's George. They've got an Aikens-Sutton motor in that truck this week. Crew Chief Roland Walatica has that one humming along, and old Butke has gotten around Resendiz now to move up to 7th.
I think they have a pretty good driver there. Nathan Butke, we watched him in the Busch Grand National Series, really run well, but he's first time ever in this truck, great performance.
Lap 184, Bliss still leading Skinner.
A little loose there. When you're his age, they just call that hanging it out. It's really not loose.
Replaced Bobby Gill in the truck earlier in the week. Nathan was just tickled to be here. He and I chatted yesterday. He said, man, what an opportunity this is. He was only going to run the NASCAR Busch Series schedule on a part-time basis. Meanwhile, up front, Mike Bliss closing in on some traffic. He's gotten around John Nemechek. Oh, and Nemechek way loose coming off the corner.
You see Mike Bliss there in the 2. He put a good bit of distance on Mike Skinner. Mike's got caught up with some traffic, but it seems to me right now that Mike Bliss's truck is really handling quite well.
Bliss has one of the 2 wins for Ford this year. He won at Monroe, Washington, while Dave Resendiz won here on TNN, the season opener, down in Homestead, Florida.
Here's the one thing that he does not need to do. You see these trucks right here are racing for position, and right now Skinner is not that far back. He was really having to contend with these lap trucks.
Around the 8th place truck, Resendiz goes a lap down, and here comes Skinner. It's still a goodly distance. From first to second is 1 1/10. And with just 10 laps to go, Bliss can ride comfortably, though Skinner is going to charge all out if he can. Remember, too, folks, $10,000 to the Nascar Craftsman Truck Series point leader at the end of this afternoon. And it's still no longer Jack Sprague in the equation because he's dropped to 14th today. But Hornaday and Skinner still have 10 grand up on the line.
Brian Refner, as the leader went way up on the racetrack to give plenty of room to Mike Bliss. These guys really like each other until it comes 10 laps to go. And when you're a lap over like that, he just moves right out of the way and let him right on by.
And Randy, Bill Sedgwick has not been himself here in the second half of this race, has he?
Unbelievable, Eli. He sat second at the red flag, and the chassis just flat went away. They made no adjustments at the halftime break, and that might have hurt him because the truck has been loose ever since the start of the second half. It's too bad for those guys.
And when Keselowski flipped his truck, we're talking there, at that point, Sedgwick at lap 123 was in second. And then from that point on, the chassis just hasn't been what he has wanted.
How good is Mike Bliss running right now? He's fixing to put Nathan Buskey down the lap. Butch Miller, the pole truck, he's fixing to put him a lap down. As a matter of fact, he does right there. He is flying around this racetrack.
All the way up now to 7th spot. He is caught. The next man he will go by, but he is in 7th position.
He'll have to catch Buskey when he's straight enough to pass him.
But Bucky's done himself proud today. The Spears Manufacturing folks have found themselves another fine young driver.
Eli, watch him come off this corner. Well, he's a little bit sideways there, but I tell you, he's young, he's very aggressive, and I think they have a good man in Nathan Buskey.
This is 5th and 6th you're looking at. Doug George, the highest rookie now in the 21 truck. This would be his season's best finish. He has twice come home in 10th this year at Homestead in the season opener and in Erie, Colorado. 197 of 200.
These guys are battling, but look at Mike Bliss just making his move on the outside going in the corner here. He is so strong. They might as well just let, well, they're fighting for position, though. They can't just pull over.
Of course, 2 laps to go. Bliss is now 3 1/10 up on second spot Skinner. There's the relationship. Skinner in second. And then 3 seconds ahead of him, crossing the stripe now, white flag for Bliss.
Yeah, he needs to just cruise this lap. He has a good lead right now in this race, and he certainly does not want to give it away by doing something out of the way here. Oh, wow.
Bucky gets into the back of the race leader. Sprague gets squirrely to his inside. A hairy lap, but it is the victory lap for Mike Bliss. His second win of the year, 3rd victory of the season for Ford. And you saw it here on TNN Motorsports. My goodness. Could you have imagined if he had gone around on the last lap?
Oh, that was...
Oh, man.
That's what we always say to the race fans. It's never over until you pass that checker flag.
1.8 seconds will be the margin of victory for Mike Bliss. Second is Skinner. Corelli will come home in 3rd at the stripe. Hornaday will take 4th place. Bill Sedgwick 5th. Doug George 6th. Bucky comes home in 7th, ahead of Jimmy Hensley, Dave Resendiz, and Rich Bickle. That's your top 10. We'll, of course, give you the full rundown before we leave.